society and our culture teaches us that happiness and success are like money, like wealth, and like a lot of the things that you guys help people to develop. But, those things can help you to a certain point, but ultimately, happiness is not what people tell us it is. And so I did all the stuff. I worked really hard. I achieved because I hated myself and I never felt like I was good enough. So I constantly kept going because I always had something to prove, largely to me, right? And I just wanted other people's approval. Then when I retired and then discovered there was actually no pot of gold at the end of that rainbow for me, I was feeling a little ripped off. And I wanted to know, like, why is it that I did everything I was supposed to do? I took all the classes, I went to all the workshops, I read all the books, and I still feel crummy. So I set about doing some research so I could figure out what was wrong and what I could do about it. And I was able to change my life and myself and my worldview so massively that I started sharing it with others. And when I shared it with others, their worldview changed and marriages got better and courage showed up, and so much that we always want to be like showed up for me and others. Honestly, I was like, well, this is too good not to share. And I've always wanted to see the world being a better place. So this is my opportunity to be the change I wish to see in the world, is by sharing the love, the wisdom, and the pathway, which is right under our noses.
Wow, well, that's a great introduction to the book. What are the 6 habits?
So the 6 habits, they're all to do with how we interact with life and how we interact with ourselves. So the habits are kindness to ourselves, acceptance of ourselves, massive radical gratitude, way beyond what you think it is, presence, goodness and energy management, and intention. Now, a lot of these 6 habits, you might think when you first hear about them, oh, well, that's obvious. Why did you write a book about it? Because people don't do it. Because just because something is simple doesn't mean it's easy to apply or actually master. And that was the challenge when I was discovering all this stuff, is that people by and large don't, they're not trained these things. As children, we're not educated by the world around us, even if our parents are doing their best to teach us to love ourselves. We don't learn self-kindness. We learn self-loathing. We become our own bully. We don't accept ourselves. We never feel enough. We're not grateful. We're just a passenger in our own lives. And simple, not easy.
Definitely. So do you think that there's one of these habits that are easier to master than the others starting out? I read the book, the habit that really I felt like so connected to, you've spent a lot of time on kindness in the beginning. And do you find that's the most important one to master, that we should master that one first? Or do you think there's one
I think it's going to vary for every person. I mean, I would say the easiest place for a lot of people to enter the 6 habits mastery journey is actually from gratitude, because people have a hard time facing themselves. I mean, I say this as a person that used to have a hard time facing myself. Like, that was part of my challenge. But if you start from something that's largely external and you start shifting your worldview from something external, it's usually like a wonderful baby step. So gratitude seems to be more accessible entry point. For me, I actually found kindness to be the habit that, while most certainly the most difficult, it was the habit that kind of unlocked everything else for me. And I don't know, I mean, you read the book, which I love, and you can see how they all interconnect with each other. And once, you go through the explanation and you read the book and you do some of the exercises, you realize, yeah, it's not as easy as we think it is. And we actually have to do the work.
I found when you wrote acceptance is love in its purest form, it's something I never thought about, but how true. You talked about the difference between kindness and acceptance. Could you explain a little bit more to our audience about that?
Oh, I'd be delighted to. I mean, listen, to be clear, we can talk for 5 hours about this. We won't, but we could, because this is my favorite subject. So acceptance is how you feel about yourself. Kindness is how you treat yourself. They're both love, but one is love in the way you regard yourself. Love in action is kindness. So they're different things, and they're definitely related, but they're not the same.
Definitely. So there are many of these 6 habits that we can relate to building your personal wealth as well. How since we are in the finance industry, how
Absolutely.
relate that the success
Um,
well?
well, the thing that I found is that building wealth got a lot easier for me once I actually started operating from a place of, oh boy, I can't wait to do that because I love myself versus I have to do that because I'm not good enough. The money started showing up a lot faster and a lot easier. When you master all these habits, I mean, you can literally accomplish anything you want. You want to build a massive legacy for the people that that you love and your heirs. You can do that when you're actually better equipped and you're in a solid relationship with yourself. You want to start a company, you want to leave it to your children, you want to build massive wealth, you want to have a less fear-based approach. You want to work with the kind folks at Beck Bodie, like a lot better and like get fear out of your head. Work on your solid constitution with yourself. You will be infinitely wealthier when you actually work on you.
So successful people should definitely think about these habits then in their lives.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you remember from the book, I'm talking about like a lot of the people in the world assume that successful people, the ones that are the happiest and most successful, that there's something special about them that is inaccessible to the rest of us. And that's just not true. They're just further along this mastery journey than we are, right? But then once we realize what it is that they're doing right, they love themselves, they're massively filled with gratitude and approaching everything with intention. You're like, oh, now imagine if these ultra successful, ultra happy people actually knew what they were doing was right and actually were able to like focus in on like tweaking all those things. They would be rich beyond their wildest dreams because they already know what it takes to be successful. A few tweaks and it will take that success and like add rocket fuel to it.
I feel like that relates into one of the most realist and relatable quotes in the book for me was, you said, when we take things for granted, expectation sets in and we forget about our blessings they're a blessing, not a privilege, not a right.
Yeah.
Expectations have so much to do with everything. So how do we, set our expectations, thinking about these going forward?
I think, well, just particularly just because life is a little weird at the moment, and like so much is like just going on in our culture. I think that when we can invite ourselves to view ourselves differently and invite ourselves to actually view life differently through not so much the glass half full, glass half empty, but my glass runneth over and there are blessings everywhere. You can operate from a different perspective. You don't get triggered by the news. You don't get triggered by the stock market. You're able to keep an even keel about things and really exist in your rational mind and make good objective decisions, and you're not getting swallowed up by what's going on in the world. And shifting your perspective, like I said, like the easiest entry point is actually gratitude. And I have to say, I was so excited to be able to talk with you about all this stuff because I don't think enough people talk about self-work and the real heart-centered stuff in our relationship with ourselves as it pertains to business. We make the mistaken argument that we've got our business life and we've got our personal life and they don't intersect, except you're the same person, and how you do one thing is how you do everything, And so just having this conversation is nice because I know you guys are really trying to help people to make more money and have the lives they dream of. And that's literally what I'm trying to do too. So it's a good way to blend the two subjects.
Absolutely. Working at Beck Bodie, I get up in the mornings and I am super excited to read my email every day because I'm excited about, what can I do? What can I help? And I feel like a lot of these habits are things that I'm already noticing in myself from reading the book. It's very interesting. You talk a lot about redirecting your thoughts and, or maybe I didn't like my hair today when I was getting ready, but I was like, you know what? My hair looks great. It's muggy in New England right now. Everybody knows it. It's a little frizzy. It's no big deal. And you talk about redirecting your thoughts, and I'm just doing it all the time now. So quickly. After
Good. See, look at you. You're already on your mastery journey. Yay. That's wonderful. That makes me happy.
You have so many online resources in the book, which I thought was, you could just click the link and you're like, it would take you to an online resource. Tell us more about what you have, what that is about. It's not just a book.
No, it's not just a book. I mean, not to like sound like a bumper sticker slogan, but it's not just a book, it's a lifestyle. It really is. Like, and I'm probably the worst marketer in the world, because literally the whole point of the 6 habits is for you to forget the 6 habits, but just live them. That's it. Like, a year from now, I don't want you to be thinking about the 6 habits. I mean, tell all your friends, but I want you to be living in such mastery that it's not even a thing or a thought for you anymore. Like, because a habit is something we do unconsciously. So how do we do that? By doing the work. So I give people all the wisdom within the book, but then I built a whole bunch of tools like, okay, hey, you're struggling with kindness? Cool. Here's a huge workbook that's actually going to help you to do the work, meet yourself where you are, discover your own mastery pathway, and actually get on the path,
And
in
those
every habit.
and those resources are free. If you read the book, you could get them from your website for free, correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's completely free. I mean, that's the thing. I'm like really committed to sharing this wisdom. I told you, I really want to change the world. I want to make it a better place, one individual at a time. And we do that by healing, nurturing, and growing ourselves. And by virtue of doing that, we can nurture, heal, and grow our culture, our bank accounts, our dreams, and everything we ever dreamed of.
Absolutely. So is there anything you think our audience should know about more about the book or the online resources?
Um, yeah, it's not a difficult read. It's not a fluffy, like ultra religious book. It's not religious at all. It's just very pragmatic. I mean, I'm a New Englander, okay? So this isn't really like a super fluffy book and very like woo woo. It's a pragmatic book, lots of tools. I like to give examples and, just arm people with opportunities to take the knowledge and actually act on it. I can't tell you how many books I've read that I don't remember the contents of. And that's probably the biggest mistake that we all make when it comes to anything we decide to get excited about, is not doing the work. And it's kind of like a cure for a disease that's never used. Like, why have it?
Absolutely.
Knowing it is not enough. So that's why I wanted to give the tools away for free. So people can't say, oh, well, your book isn't enough. Yes, it is. There's a lot of tools. Enjoy. Like, here you go. You can change your life. You are empowered. There's no reason for you not to do this.
Right. I had the book on my phone and just kept picking it up when I'd have a free second. And then you could just click the resources. They're right there. It's digital. It's all linked, which I found was just an amazing resource to have all.
Thank you.
It's so easy.
I'm trying to empower people, I just
Absolutely.
I know how hard it is. And it really annoys me when I go to take advantage of something and like everything that's actually of substance is behind a paywall. I don't like that. And I don't want to ever treat other people that way. So, there's obviously things that you can do that are further along the journey. Like I can coach people. There's like a self-directed 90-day program, but honestly, there's so much value in the stuff that's in the book and the free stuff I give you. Take it.
Absolutely. I think it's just such a valuable resource. I think your book was so relatable as well. I felt like I learned about you. It was easy to have a connection to you. You've had some very difficult challenges in your life and now have overcome to a status and a state which I feel like everyone would we all want to live in Hawaii, I think, and retire at 37. But
yeah, imagine what happens when you're actually happy when you get there.
And so you are still running multiple businesses. You are still the CEO of Vision Advertising in that capacity as well, and doing other business ventures as well.
Yes, I am. And so here's what I discovered about retirement. I don't want to sit still. That is boring. So for me, retiring means, okay, well, it looks like I've been fired from this job. I'll just continue to get paid. Thank you. That's good. And now I'm going to go start another company because I enjoy business so much. Like I learned something about myself in this whole retirement process and writing the book. Goodness, the habit of adding good energy and removing bad energy, right? I'm really, really good with boundaries. Like good luck walking on me. Good luck. Okay. But it turns out adding lots of good energy, I was not as good at that as I thought I was, and moving to Maui highlighted that, because it's like, oh, well, I've just got this thing I'm going to work on and I'm just going to build out a whole sales structure. And that sounds fun. My husband's like, do you want to go to the beach? Yes. Yes, I do. That sounds good. So I have to just really invite all of that. And it's a huge lifestyle shift, but I don't think I'm ever going to like retire and like sit on the couch. That just sounds dreadful to me.
Do you want to live in Hawaii for forever? Is it that nice?
It is that nice, but I don't think I'll live here forever. My husband is from Italy, and even before I met him, we had plans to buy property in Italy somewhere and live there. So I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll probably live here half the year, probably live in Italy the other half of the year. I know your heart is bleeding for me.
I know. I'm just like, oh, please. That sounds wonderful.
I love Italy, and I always had this dream that I would retire there and just grow tomatoes and just like, drink all the wine and have all the cheese and all the espresso and just take the rail and just go visit all of Europe. And that's going to happen. So
I think we all want to visit you, and we'll definitely want to follow your Instagram account to get the updates from both Hawaii and Italy. So,
well, Italy's going to be a while because the world is on fire. But, once it's not, then we can talk about it. Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We have put in the chat all of the links if you want to follow Laura in different places. We have her website, Instagram, LinkedIn, and she also has a very special gift for everyone that joined us today. She's actually going to be giving you all the book for free, which we'll be putting the link in the chat as well, which we thank you so much for that, Laura. She's going to give us all these tools and tips. If anyone has any questions or for Laura, please definitely let me know. And I can reach out.
I did see one. Richard actually said something.
Oh, yeah.
He said, thank you for that injection of optimism. You're welcome. You are better than a physician, right? Happiness is the path. Buddha said that. It's actually in the book. I have consulted financially with Stephen Covey. That is definitely a compliment. Thank you so much. Pure Italian. All right, fine. Now we're besties.
Richard's great. Well, thank you everyone for coming today. Laura, is there anything else that you wanted to add before we sign off today?
Yes, I would. I just want to encourage people, no matter where you are in your journey, no matter how successful you think you are, no matter how you feel about yourself, you don't need to be special. You really don't. No one has more than you. You can do the work. You should do the work. And no matter what your goals are, whenever you work on yourself, whenever you really take the time to invest in your relationship with yourself, you knock down so many walls that stand before you. So I just want to invite everybody, please don't be afraid of the process. Just do the work. You deserve the results on the other side.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Laura. And thank you all for attending our session today. We will be putting that link into the chat right now, and I'll be sticking around just so you can grab that link open in the chat. But thank you all for coming today, and thank you, Laura, for being with us.
Thank you, Angel. This has been awesome.
Thank you.